Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Java lecture. And in this session, we'll discuss about packages and interfaces. Now, the name of each example class we have mentioned so far. Okay, they were taken from the same namespace because we have not assigned any namespace here. Okay, so the people who have already learned about C++, so they must have idea about the term namespace. Okay, so they define as the scope of a particular class. So here till now all the classes were belongs to the same namespace. So that's why we have seen that we have to assign unique name for all the class names to avoid the collision with the other programmer who are also assigning the classes. So since I have known that I'm the only user, so I'm making sure that I define only unique names. But still we can define two classes with the same name provided they are stored in different manageable chunks. Okay, so Java provides a mechanism for partitioning the class namespace into more manageable chunks. Okay, and that is called package. So if we have multiple packages, each package can have the class with the same name. So Java package, we can say, is a mechanism for naming the classes and also controlling the visibility. So inside a package, the classes can be defined that are not accessible by the code outside the package, that are only exposed to the other member of the same package, and also we'll see that the classes outside the package, those who inherit these classes, can also have a restricted access to the member of the classes. So Java package enable this, and as we were discussing during the inheritance, that Java package will really give the real control of the visibility control, visibility or access control, across the classes or across the packages, we'll say. So how to create package? Very simple. We use the package keyword on the top, and whatever classes that is declared beneath the package keyword, the package name, that all belongs to that particular package. All right, and if you omit the package statement, the class name will go to the default package. Means unnamed package, we say. So in C++ you must have studied about unnamed namespace. If you're not mentioning any namespace, so that particular class or particular method or function belongs to an unnamed namespace. So similar concept here. If you don't mention the package, that particular class belongs to the default package with no name. Okay. So yeah, default packages are good for short programming, but really not sufficient for real real Java applications. Now syntax is package, the package name. Here one example has been given to this. And remember, the .class files for any classes that you declare the part of my package must be stored in a directory called my package. So let's say in my Java file I have created some number of classes and I have declared them under the package, let's say package 1. That means I must make sure that from my working directory I should have a directory that is with the my package, where all these classes, all these files are stored. Means all these classes are belongs to that my package. So depending upon what package I declare in the files, I must define the corresponding directory. One thing you must remember, that suppose you are changing the package name, you cannot do this without renaming the directory. If you are changing the package name, you also has to change the name of the directory. Now we can create the package hierarchy, one package inside another. So nested packages is possible, and they are defined by dot operator, or you can say the period. So the packages in the hierarchy are mentioned with the period. So package 1 at the topmost hierarchy, then package 2 under package 1, and package 3 under package 2. In this way, and folder should be created. The folder should be created accordingly. The example is given here. So very simple. All right. So suppose we are defining a package image which is under the package AWT, and which is again under the higher level package Java. So this image, the folder image directory should be there within the in this path. Okay, so it is Windows, it's showing the path under Windows. So similar case for the Linux and other operating system also. And we can import by using import statement. Import, exactly you mentioned that order to import the particular package. Now how Java runtime system will know? First of all, in your working directory, okay, the subdirectories generally contain your package subdirectories. Alright, so it will look for all subdirectories that is present from the working directory. Then if it finds one folder based on the name of the package you given, that is fine. Otherwise, there is second way is that we specify the directory path, okay, or paths in the environmental variable class path, all caps. Okay, just like path, we have class path. So this is more suitable for Windows environment. In Windows environment, we define class path. So you add your wherever you are storing all your classes, okay, all your packages in this class path, so that when you compile, you don't have to, the compiler don't have to look for all the. So it will only look for the class path, and it will be able to find all the class names. Okay. Next is that I generally use in the Linux, because I dynamically add the class path by using the class path option while I compiling. So because since I'm using command line interface, so this is more suitable for me. Okay, so mentioning the class path, okay, which is the class path where the classes are found on which the current Java file which is going to compile are depend upon. So all the classes on which it is depend upon, that can be mentioned by the class path. So we'll see an example of this. So first example is a simple package. We are creating a class balance. We can see that two members, two default access members. We have again a balance and a show. Okay, so all are accessible within the package. That means, so we have discussed the accessibility. So we are defining another class and the main method, creating an array of balance object, and each object is initialized by new operator and initialized using the parameterized constructor that is defined in the balance, and we are using show method to print it. So it's a very simple class. I think it's not, we shouldn't be very difficult to understand. Now let us see how we execute them, how we create them, how we execute them. So I'll show based on the command line basis. Okay, so let's say this is my working. So PPT8 is my working directory, and I have created a folder, mypack, all right, which contains the classes we are looking for. Okay, so let me show you mypack, all right, and yes, so account balance, I have separated two classes. So balance is separate file, balance class is stored in a separate file. So let me show you. Okay, so we can see the balance is stored in balance.java, okay, and including the package command, packet statement, that is package. So this class belongs to the package mypack. Similarly, we have account balance, which also under same package, because we want to access the balance, right? So we are declaring this class under the same package, all right, and it is doing the operation. So both the classes are defined in the separate files, okay, so but they belongs to the same package, and you can see that both the Java files are stored under the directory mypack from my current working directory. Okay, so let me go back to my working directory. Okay, and so to use Java, okay, the balance, okay, because I need balance to compile the account balance. All right, so I must compile it before. I have already compiled, you can see that, but it's better to compile it before using the class. Okay, so I have compiled it. So class file is, so I want to generate all the class file that is needed to execute or to run the account balance class. Okay, so I need balance, so I created a class file of balance, and it is under the mypack. So if I am working my current directory, I don't have to mention any class, because it automatically look for, when I compile here, it automatically looks for all the subdirectory to find the package. Okay, so we'll try to find out a subdirectory which is have the same name as my package name. So my package is my pack. So when I compile this, the account balance which is there under my pack, so I want to compile from here only. Okay, so it will look for the balance class and use it for compiling this one. So I'm compiling it from the my working directory. That's why I mentioned the absolute path of the file. Okay, so compilation successful. All right, and we can run not by just writing account balance, but I have to mention the class path. That is important, as you discuss. Okay, so my pack dot. Okay, so it mentions that. So it indicates that, okay, this class which is we are going to execute now is under the package my pack. So whenever we cannot use just account balance or just give the path to execute. No, that won't work. Now to execute a class under a package, we have to give the absolute package path. That is why dot operator. Suppose it is under another package, then you have to give that my pack one dot my pack account. So then only it is going to work. So now we can run. Okay, just a minute. I think little bit things are missing here. Okay, wait. Yeah. So no, it is about just a syntax problem here. I just typed Java here, so Java should be okay. Fine. So Java. So to run it, Java my pack, the package name and the class name. Okay, under the class name and the which is there under this package name. So when I run it, will print it. So if you have seen the program, okay. So it's creating 3 accounts with the name and the account, and if the account is less than 0, then it gives some additional symbol here. Okay, so the output clearly, okay, shows that yeah, this account has my negative balance. That's why it's showing this way. Okay, so we are able to execute and run it. This is how it works. Okay, so both are belongs to now my package. I can create as many as classes under this package. Okay, but let us see the visibility, which is really important part in the package. We must know which class is visible under which hierarchy. So that will make it clear to understand how we should implement package. Okay, so access protection is really understood that what happens to the class and the class members when we give the access specifier under packages. Okay, till now we have seen that in inheritance case of how it happens, but let us see how it happens under the package. So this table clearly mention what happens. Now suppose same class, then it can access all the data members. Suppose these are the access specifiers we mentioned to all the data members or the member methods. Private, no modifier means the default, we say default type. Okay, default type, protected and public. Now imagine we have a class and okay, same package subclass. Suppose we have a class and under the same package we have created a subclass of the given class. Let's say I have created a class C1. So imagine I'm talking about a class which is a subclass of C1 and in the same package. So definitely private members cannot be accessed by anyone. If you declare a member as private, cannot be accessed by anyone. Now for default access, yes, it can access all the members which have the default access specifier. Because it is subclass, it can access the protect and publics for all of them. Okay, so none of the other class can access the private members, and all other classes may belongs to the same package, may or may not belong to the same package, or maybe a subclass, non-subclass. The public members can be accessed anywhere outside the class. So this column, you can see that it clearly mentioned that. Okay, now coming to the two things, the two columns which are there in the middle. Okay, now we have a class which is in the same package but a non-subclass. It is not inheriting. It is not inheriting the class C1, but it's another independent class under the same package. So as we discussed that protected, it can access the protected one. Also default, we say that the default access is public within the public within the package. We have discussed that when we don't mention any access specifier, so they become the public within the package. So yes, so this is a class under the same package, so it can access all default access members as well as protected. As I discussed that this protected works only across the packages. Alright, so it can access both of them. Okay, we have seen this example that we have declared another class and we are able to directly access the protected members. I have shown you in the inheritance, if you remember. Alright, now coming to a different subclass. In the different, let's say we are not talking about some package, other package. Okay, let's say this is package 1, this is package 2. Okay, so C1 belongs to package 1. I am talking about a class which is inheriting class C1 but belongs to some other package, let's say package 2. Okay, so in this case definitely the private members are inaccessible, default access are unaccessible, because the access of default access members are limited to within the package. So since this class belongs to the a package which is a different package, so it cannot access. Oh yes, but since it's a subclass of the class C1 belongs to the package 1, it can access the protected members because it is inheriting that class even though it belongs to the other package. Okay, so but when it comes to a class which belongs to a different package and not a subclass of C1, okay, our original subclass, in that case it only can access the public member. It cannot access any of the private or neither the default access nor protected one. It has access to only public, the members which has been explicitly declared as public members. This can be accessed outside. Okay, so this is the access protection, the access protection control that has been defined across the packages, within the package and also across the packages. Let's see an example for this. Okay, so we here take the example from the book that is having two packages. In one package, let me show you via the example. It is more better to understand. So let us discuss this example first and we'll see that. First, we're discussing the first package, that is package 1. You can see that there are 3 different files created. Okay, protection.java, derived.java and same package.java. Alright, so first protection.java define a class protection, you can see, and there is a default all type of member is created here. Okay, default access and private, okay, nprivate, then protected, npro, and public and public. Okay, so 4 type of variable created of different access specifier, and we have a you can see a default constructor to print all the values. We are initializing them. We are giving some constant values when we are declaring the variables, so they can hold this initial value, and we can see that we are going to print all of them. Okay, so yes, there is no problem with the production, so it is printing base constructor. Okay, we'll actually modify this to protection base constructor, because we are applying protection base constructor because we are applying inheritance. So let us define protection base constructor. Let it be like this. Okay, so then comes to again another file, okay, which is defining a class derived, which is a subclass of the class protection. Okay, under the same package, you can see that the package is P1 here. So in the same package there is another class derived which is extending or which is inheriting the class protection. So that means here you can see that we are trying to print all of them. Okay, so we are printing derived constructor. We are default access specifier value, yes, we can print it. Private, we cannot print this one because private member. So we will, when this statement is executed, we are going to expect an error. Okay, otherwise it can access all of them. Then protected is access because it's a subclass, it can access protected. Okay, and it's within the same package, that's why it can access both protected member as well as the public member. Done. Then it comes to the another class which is an independent class. Okay, but within the same package P1. All right, so its constructor is again it's trying to create an instance of the protection and try to print all the values. Okay, So yes, it can, because it belongs to the same package, it can create a member, it can access, it can create an instance of the protection class, and it can print. These lines are all will valid. Default access, because within the same class, default access, protected member, public member, all can be accessed, but only the private. This line will give you error. This line is not possible because it is trying to access the private member of the protection class. Okay. So let us see this. Let us first execute this one. So you can see I have a package P1 here. Alright, let us see inside. All the classes are there, and to run these classes we have a demo class here. Alright. So yes, all has been done. So I have little bit modified this. I just want to show you that because I have comment, I have made those access which are error as comment. So let us first start with the protection Java. Okay, this is the protection class. Okay, fine. Then let us see the derived class. Okay, fine. But see that in this line will give us error. So let me uncomment first and show you how it works. Or let me print with the comment. Then we'll show uncomment and see the errors. Okay, fine. Next comes to the same package Java. Okay, it is another class, but not inheriting the inheriting the class protection. It is using, because it's the same package, it is creating an instance and try to print all of them. Okay, print all the values. We try to access all the variables. Okay, as we know that again, this will give an error. We have put this comment. Okay, let us run it and see. So being in my current directory, I will try to compile it. Okay, so and demo. Let me tell you that I am executing all of them by using demo. So yes, let us see how it works. So yes, demo is creating an object of all the type. Okay, demo is trying to create and it is under the same package, you can see that, and we are trying to create object of the same. So let us see how the access, how they create it. All right, so all of them belongs to the package P1. Okay, so one is subclass, another is another class, is not a subclass, but it is accessing, it is creating an object of the existing class. Okay, so let's compile it. Java P1 demo. Okay, so compiled successfully. Then you know how to access that Java, the package name dot the class name. Okay, because now this class no more an independent class or not under, we can say the unnamed package or a default package. It is under the package P1. So let us run it. Okay, so the outputs are very clear now. This first one is for, you can see that how the demo works. First, protection object is created. So the base, the constructor of the default constructor of the protection is called. So it is printing all the values. Okay, protection base constructor. Okay, n equal to 1. Okay, it can, because it is its own class, it can access all the members. Done. Then second is derived one. Okay, within the same package, a class which is deriving it. All right, it is able to print all of them other than the private member. Okay, we can see that. So first it is, so it is, since it is a subclass, always you know that the constructor of the base class will be called. So constructor of the base class is called right here. Okay, all the members are printed here. Then derived class again can print the default protected public, but not private. We have put the private in the comment. Okay, then it comes to the same package. Okay, when this is created, inside this we are explicitly creating the object of the protection class. So automatically it also invoke the default constructor of the protection. Okay, so you can see here, right? So when this line is executed, it will invoke the default constructor of the protection. So that's why we are able to see the again the values of the under the base protection based constructor, all the values. When it comes to the same package, okay, same package constructor, we are able to print only the lines which are accessible. Okay, so this here on default case, then the protected one and the public one. Now suppose what I will do is that I will modify one of the, okay, let me enable these lines, one of the line. Okay, let me start with the derive. So I will uncode this one. So you know that private cannot be accessed. Okay, so let's compile. Yes, so we got there saying that the n pri is a private access. Okay, so clear. It's saying that even if it's within the same package, we cannot access the private members of a class. That's it. Okay. Same applied for the other class also. Okay, we cannot access. If I do this again, I will get an error. Okay. So this is how the protection of private members are applied within the package. Now let us look at the case of other package. We have seen that we have all these classes are different. Someone is subclass, one is not non-subclass. Trying to access, trying to create an object of protection. Okay, and we can see how they access. Let us see of a different package. So P2. Let's go back and see the other. So another package created. So you know that for another package means we create another directory and store. So we have two files here. One file having a class protection2.java, which is a subclass of protection. You can see that. Okay. So package P2. Alright, it's a new package, and class protection2 extend. Not if you simply write protection, it will look for the protection class under the default package. Now we are explicitly saying that no, protection is not part of default package. It is part of the package P1. So the compiler will look for a directory called P1 when you are compiling and try to find. If you don't find, then remember, if you are executing from some other path other than your working directory, you have to give the class path. I will demonstrate that definitely. Okay, so yes, this protection is inherited here. That means it is inheriting the class protection, as the rule says that it cannot access private members, but it can access the protected members, and also it cannot access the default access, because the access of default access access specifier cases, the members are limited to only package. So you can see that it will try, if you try to print the value of n which doesn't have any access specifier and the private, it will get error definitely. But it can access the because it is inheriting outside the package, so it can access to the protected well, and public is different by default available to all the classes. Okay, so this is the point when it inheriting. Now when it comes to another file, okay, under the same package P2, another class, that is other package, in the constructor we are trying to create an object by p1.protection object. You can see that we are explicitly mentioning the package name to indicate that we are trying to create an object of protection belongs to the package P1. Okay, so when it is created, when I will try to access default access, definitely not allowed. It is a non subclass outside the package. So this is not outside the package, not allowed. Private member, not at all allowed. Okay, then protected, because if it is a subclass just like protection 2, it could have access to the protected members. Okay, if it is extend or you inherited the protection class, but since it's a non subclass, it even cannot access the protection member. If you put it, we'll put this one, we'll see an error. It has only access to the public member because it's a non subclass outside the package. Let us see the demonstration of this. Okay, so we have the package P2. Let us go inside and see. So all the files are here. Let me open and show to you all the files. And for the first time I made them into the comment. Okay, so see that default access outside the package not allowed. That's why it will lead an error. Private definitely not allowed. Similarly, the other package class Java file, okay, create an object of protection under P1 package, and it tried to access. If you enable these lines, definitely error, because one is private member and it's default access member and it's a protect member. Okay, but since it's a this is a non subclass, okay, of protection and outside the package P1, it cannot access, only it can access the public member. Let us run it and see. So I will go back to my working directory and compile P2. So yeah, I think I forgot to tell you that the demo. Similarly I have created a demo here. Okay, I have taken the demo. This file. This example is available in the complete reference. You can refer back to it. Yes, this demo similar to creates a protection 2 object and an object of other package. Okay, we'll see how it works. So P2 demo. Okay, it can access, it can see it while compiling demo, we need access to the P1. We are using the classes of package P1. So the compiler is, because I'm compiling from my working directory. The subdirectory is there is a subdirectory called P1. So the Java compiler is able to find the package. Okay, so that's why this statement works when I'm working on when I'm compiling from my working directory. When I'm on top of the directory of all the package directory. All right. Then P2 dot demo. Oh yeah. Right. So first one for protection 2. Protection 2 inherit the protection of package 1. So it automatically invoke the default constructor of protection class. So you can see that it is printing all the data member of the protection class. All right. And private and protected and public. Then under derived protection 2, it cannot access to this because this is outside the package. So default access is not possible. Private not possible. So it can access to the protected member as well as the public member. This is over for the protection 2 object. Now comes to the object of other package. It creates an object of protection class. Okay, using the package information. All right. So what happens here? Then it automatically invokes the protection default constructor. It prints all the member. All right. But when it try to access the members, okay, each member within it will give an error. Okay. So it only can access the public member. You can see that we are printing only public member. Now let us enable some of the thing and we'll see how it works. So in protection 2, I will try to access the default access default access specifier member whose access specifier not been mentioned. Okay, so default public we say. Okay, it is limit to only within the package. Let us see and let us compile it and see. So we are getting error saying that N is not public in protection. Okay, cannot access from outside the package. Clearly mentioning the error message saying that we cannot access the N in protection 2 because it's outside the package. Done. Similarly, let us go to other package class and try to enable. Okay, this part we have seen. Now let us try to access the protected part. Because it's not a non-subclass, it cannot access that. Simply we'll get another error here. Okay, so N protected has protected access. Okay, in protection. That's why since it is not inheriting, it cannot access the protected member outside the package. Okay, so this is how it works. Now let me show you that if I am not working now in my working directory, how I will do that. Okay, I have to compile. So simply in that case, I can compile anywhere, but thing is that I have to mention the class path. So let's say I'll go back to one of the other directory. Let's say yeah, I'm within documents. Let's say my control is now within documents. I want to compile. Yeah, I will compile the Java file. So what is the path? I think if you remember, my home directory, then ppt 8 my working directory, then the file is within the mypack. Let us run the account balance. So mypack account balance. All right. When I will try to execute this, it will try to find out the class within the subdirectory, the package mypack within the subdirectory, but that is not available. So it is trying to giving you error saying that where I cannot find the symbol balance. Okay, because I am in document and within document there is no package directory called mypack. It is there within my previous working directory ppt. So here I must mention the class path. When I want to try to execute from some other directory, I must use the option class path because I am using command prompt. It is convenient for me. Class path. And I mentioned the directory, almost the same path. because we know that we have stored within the same folder. PPT8, that's it. PPT8 indicate the working directory. So that means it look for all subdirectories under PPT8 to find out a package with the package which is looking for. Okay, so yes, now it works. You can see that, and we also can compile. Okay, by providing the class path, then only it is possible. All right. So what I will do is Java. Okay, again I will mention the, or I will just modify this. So I'll Java and I will mention the class path. Then I can execute the class, the account balance class, which is there in the my pack. So what I will do is I will modify this one here and my pack. So it will look for the class path, my pack. So I have given the class path under PPT8. There is a folder called my pack, so it will able to locate the package my pack. Now within that, this is class. I want to execute this class path, so it should work. It should work. All right. So we can see the output of the class. So this is how we can execute by mentioning the class path. Now for other user, Windows user, they can mention this folder. Now suppose, let's say in PPT8, all my class files, my class files are present. All my packages are there. So I will add this path in the class path, capital class path variable in the my environmental variable of the operating system. If you add that, so you don't have to mention this. It will look for the class path automatically. Okay, that is an alternative way to do that. Other way is that I have shown the first way. Whenever you are storing a folder, you always try to compile from the working directory only. So those who are using the editor, for them it won't be a problem, because the editor will always compile from the its working directory. So all your packages will be stored, will be created within your working directory only. Wherever your tool, your Java editor is working, under that folder only all the classes will be created by different projects. I think they generally create by projects. Okay, so this is the how you mention the class path. Okay, so importing is very easy. So we can suppose some class, we want to access some class. Now this is the how we access via packages, by including package. Suppose you want to access import one package. All right, you want to, but for that, suppose you want to use a class. Suppose one class is there under a package, and we want to access the members, okay, of the class. So for that, we have to make sure that suppose now this is this folder, when we are importing, this folder is not belongs to any of the package. Okay, so then that means we have to access the members, we have to make all the member public. You know that rule is. Okay, suppose we want to access a class outside the package, that means we can access only the public members. We cannot, and we have to. Suppose we are not inheriting here. We are inheriting, then we can have access to the protected members. So suppose I am here. I want to use the package, the member of a particular class. Okay, outside the package. So I have to make sure that I have to make the members public. So we will modify it a little bit, and then I can import by using import keyword and access the. So let me demonstrate this one. Okay, let us go back to my pack. All right, and this is the balance has been modified to public, so that it can be, the balance object can be created outside. Unless until we don't make the classes public, none of the other classes outside the package can create this particular instance of the this class. Okay, so we have to make it public. All right. So some other package where we want to create it, we have seen that. Okay, we want to create, we have to mention the access specifier over there. Now suppose we omit that and we can do that. Okay, and I made all the members public so that we can access directly. We have seen in the other package we can access only I think not other packages, right? Yeah, here no, not other package. I think here we can see that we can access only public members. We cannot access all of them. Okay, I have just untagged. So that's why to access all the method of the balance class, I made it public. So even the class is made public so that its object can be, its constructor, an object can be created out. So I made all of the members are only default public, and all methods have been made public. and named it as a balance public. Okay, done. So it is created. Now I outside this, let's say I'm within this only. Okay, I can do it also outside somewhere. There I have to mention the class path as I have mentioned, but just I'm on the parent directory only. So here I want to use the balance class. You see that there is no relationship between its parent, and it will still work if I just use the package name here, because I am on the parent directory, I am in the working directory. Okay, but I want to use import. Okay, I don't want to use the package name, so I use the approach of importing here. So simply I write import mypack all the classes. There is only one class balance, so it will include that class. It will import the class here. So I can now directly use the objects. I don't have to mention here. So if since I am under the parent directory, the working directory, I can mention P1 and still I can still mention mypack dot and still will work. But this is the case I am telling. Can be done any folder outside the class. You make sure that you give the correct class path for the balance public, and it will work. Okay, so to simply we can do import the package name. The hierarchy should be mentioned properly. My package, and also here this should be in the working directory. There should be a package mypack, and all the classes will be included here. So I can access it directly here. All right, balance public. All right, I can see using this I can call the public default constructor. Using this I can use the public method so, and I can do that. So let us compile it. So here I just need to compile it. I don't have to mention anything because I have used import. So javac, sorry, I'm in documents, so I'll come back to my working directory, javac account balance outside. Okay, we don't need any path here. We don't have to mention any class path or something here. Right, so simply it will work. And also while compiling, because it's a standalone class. Okay, it is under the account balance outside, not under any package. Okay, it is under the default package. Alright, so that's why we can execute like this and still it works. This is how we can import a package and use the classes under it. So I think that's all about it. So I'd say now people can create more and more packages and can see how it works. All right. So let us move to another the second part of the discussion, that is interfaces. So interfaces are just like they define a class and telling that what class must do, but they won't say how it do. Just okay. So it's similar to class, but only thing is that we cannot create an instance of the class or we cannot create the method. All right, cannot create an object of that class. All right. So here in the interface, it's just like a class, but the methods are created or declared here without any body. So it's left up to the class which is going to use it, implement the interface, and let them decide how the body will be. So it tells what to do, what are the methods could be, and how the methods will be implemented is up to the class which is implementing this inheritance. Okay, so when it comes to a subclass, we'll discuss that. Okay, so that is, we call it extending, but here implement it is going to. And remember, once it is defined, any number of class can be implement an inheritance. Okay, so not necessarily only one class. Okay, so you have defined interface. This interface can be implemented by any number of classes, and also one class can implement multiple interface. So a multiple inheritance case can be seen using interface only in Java. We cannot do using classes here. Okay, so multiple inheritance property can be implemented by interfaces only. Okay, so to implement interface, the class must create a complete set of method defined by interface. It's not like the class, okay, after class that, okay, I can implement only few and then I will omit the rest of the thing. Okay, that is not. In interface, suppose there are n number of methods defined in the interface, then the implementing class must define all of them. Okay, and each class is free to determine the detail of them. So you can define of your own. Let's say method name is draw. You decide what to draw. Okay, method name is show. Then you decide what to show. That class will decide what to show. Alright. So by providing interface keyword, the Java will allow you to fully utilize, okay, one interface, multiple method class. As it is only one interface, then we can have multiple methods. Okay, so another, it's saying that it's another way to achieving the polymorphism. Next, the methods declared in an interface are always public and abstract. So even if you don't mention the public and abstract keyword, okay, then still it is safe. So it is by default, okay, by default public and abstract. All right. So all the so you can omit these words. Okay. Static methods are not declared. We can declare static members. Okay, we'll see that. But static methods cannot be declared in the interface. Okay, these methods are never abstract, so they do not express the behavior of an object. Okay, so then variables can be declared inside the interface. They can only be declared as static and final. So now we can do a variable, but we cannot keep the, so or by default when you create a variable, that becomes static and final. That means it's just like constants. Okay, they are just like constant and one copy for each. No, there is no case of concept of copying. All right, that. So static is final. And again, we can omit this. Even if you write static or final, okay, it was fine. You can also omit it safely, no problem. Sometimes interface declares only constant. Now we will see some cases. I'll show one example at the end, that a interface containing only constant. So generally some interfaces are reserved for declaring some constant, some mathematical constant or some reserved constant, which are to be used by the other classes, okay, as a standard constant. Okay, so for that purpose also we can take the help of interface. Now interface versus apps, how they are different. Now in an interface, okay, is a list of unimplemented abstract method. Okay, so it contains so interface cannot implement any method. So in abstract class we have abstract methods. However, in interface we can also interface cannot have any method that can be implemented. Okay, in abstract class we can have some method which are not implemented, but also with combination of both. We can have methods not implemented, we can have methods that is already been implemented. So abstract class has the combination of that. So a class implements many interfaces but can have only one superclass. Okay. So when it comes to a class concept, it cannot support the multiple inheritance, multiple inheriting the multiple case of inheriting the interface. But a class can have as many as can implement as many as interface that it need. Okay. And so the multiple inheritance case, as I was telling, is limited to only interface, not to the class. That's why it is different from the abstract class. An interface is not part of the class hierarchy. We never include the interface as a hierarchy of the class. Okay, multi-level inheritance. So unrelated class can implement the same interface. So there shouldn't be any relationship between the classes. Okay, or there is no rule, that there is no condition that we should have some relations between them to implement an interface. Okay, so simply an interface is there, so any class can implement it with respective of any relationship. So the syntax is very simple. We mentioned the access specifier of the interface and the keyword interface and the name, just similar to the class definition. Okay, and we have the method names, then the final variables, which are generally constant because they are static and final. So you must mention the value which will be fixed throughout their execution. All right. So we like this. We mentioned the interface. Let's see an example. Okay. But before example, some points related to implementing interface. Okay. To implement an interface, we must include the implements. So suppose one class want to implement an interface, it must use the keyword implement. For class, it is extend. For interface, it should be implements. Okay, remember this is a keyword in Java. The type signature of the implementing method must match exactly the type signature of the interface. So when you are implementing an interface, make sure that all the methods are implemented. So when you say implemented, all the method must match the signature of the methods of the interface. Okay, and if a class implement more than one interface, the interfaces are separated by comma. Suppose I am going to implement more than one interface, so they will be separated by comma. Alright. Next, if a class implement two interfaces that declare the same method, then the same method will be used by the client of either interface. So suppose we have two interfaces and have the same method, let's say show, and we have a class which is implementing both the interface, then we cannot have two copies of show inside the class. Only it is up to the class to decide which one to be implemented. Okay, if you try to implement both of them, you will get an error. You can try it, okay, but only it's up to the client, means the class, to decide either use the method of same method either interface, either one, okay, either from the interface 1 or to interface 2, but the same method. So when you say same method means they are matching signature. Remember that, okay? So signature should match. So when you implement an interface method, it must be declared as public. So when we implement an interface, that must be declared as public. That is essential. So here is an example. We have an interface containing only one method, that is callback, and okay, the signature is here. It takes an input, an integer input as a parameter, and we have a class client which implements callback. So that means now it has to, so this class is implementing callback, it has to implement, or it has to define all the method that is there inside the callback. There is only one method, so it is defining the method callback. You can see that it's taking the input. Here it is, maybe the variable name, it could be different, but the signature must match. See that the return type is void, return type doesn't matter. So but the number of parameter is 1 and it is integer type. Okay, and it must be declared as public. Okay, so system, we are printing it, simply we are printing the value of p. Okay, that's it. Okay, and we are using it. You see that? Okay, when we are using the we can use the, we are making callback C is equal to new client. So we can use the instance of the interface. Okay, to create a new object of the new object of the client. Okay, so we can see that. So the client already implement the callback, so we can use like this. All right, and we can use the method that is defined. So c dot callback. This is how an interface can be implemented. A simple example, you can try some more. Okay, some more thing about the interface. A class automatically implements all the interfaces that are implemented by its superclass. Okay, so we are using a inheritance hierarchy. So superclass is implemented some of the inherent interfaces, so that then by default it implement all of them. Okay, and interfaces belongs to Java namespace. Okay, and such are placed into packages are just like classes. Okay, so they belongs to the Java namespace, and we can just like it will be stored just like classes. Okay, that is the point. Then some interfaces are declared with entirely empty bodies, means there is no method at all. Okay, the class, only the name. Okay, so they serve as a level of the classes. Okay, so name of the only, so for leveling that is used. Okay, so one inherit in one interface cannot, another point is that one cannot inherit another by using the keyword extend. So remember that never used to use the extend keyword, because it's meant for only classes, not for. Okay, so the most common marker interface are the clonable and serializable. These are very common. Now I suggest the readers to go through, see the set of libraries, okay, or the library of interfaces that is supported by the Java library, and which are common. We'll see in the next session, we'll see that we implement Runnable, which is a very popular interface for implementing thread, okay, in Java. We'll see that in detail, okay, in the next session. Okay, so you will see that the class car is implementing clonable. So clonable generally use the, here the method super.clone. Okay, so this clone method is used here. So an example is shown here. Okay, that how you implement a class. We'll have some more example. Okay, because we'll discuss when the packages, and so when we see the library, then we'll see the more example of these interfaces and super classes. So here is an example where an interface is used using only the variables. Okay, so it's a, you can say it's an interface of constant. Okay, so so that any classes we implement them, they can use this constant. Okay, so this is an example here, but generally for standards, like mathematical constant, okay, the logical constant, we define generally constants, okay, for our purpose, okay, mostly for the arithmetic purpose. So that this can be helpful. Okay, a set of constant needed for a particular purpose. Let's say for coordinate geometry, some constant. For let's say other calculations, some constant. So we can define the constant in different interfaces, and we can utilize them. Okay. So and yeah, with this this is the end of the discussion of package interface. I think reader has to go through some more examples, work out on more example to understand in these things about it more. Okay. So that's it. Thank you very much.